Hi, I'm Greg Demetrio, President of Lorraine Gregory Corp Communications Group, and I'm here today to talk to you about marketing your trade show appearance. If your company is one that exhibits at trade shows, there's a little bit different take on how to market that attendance so that you can drive people to your booth. It's not as simple as just sending out a mail card or a letter even. You have to think a little bit further than that. Why? Because you're going to try and get past the gatekeepers to reach the executive decision makers and them come to your booth. It's a different ask, okay, in marketing. It's not that you're selling them anything. You're giving them an opportunity to come and talk to you about your product or service. So you need them to be in front of you. And of course, you've all been to trade shows, and there are thousands of people attending, and people are walking up and down the aisles and looking for vendors and maybe annoying some vendors because they're just kicking the tires. But you have the opportunity to get more qualified people to your booth with a little bit of smarter marketing. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So with any marketing, we always start out with the mailing list. All right, who are you sending it to? Well, that's who's your decision maker that you need to reach. You need to do the homework. You need to identify who that might be. Might it be the facilities manager? Might it be the procurement officer? Might it be the asset manager? Might it be human resources? You need to decide who it is that's going to attend this show and who you want at your booth. Where would you get that from? Well, you can get that from your own client database, which is definitely important. All right, if the show is geography based, in other words, it's a Midwest show or it's a Northeast show, you're not going to expect your West Coast people to show up in New York all the time. Maybe they will. If you think that's going to happen, then you want to include them. Otherwise, I would tell you that you slice it up and be reasonable and understand that not everybody's going to go every place anymore. It doesn't work that way anymore. So be selective. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your effort, and target your audience. You can get mailings from the trade show promoters. Many times they will give you the pre-registration list, which is very, very valuable. You can get lists from industry publications that are targeted to the theme of the trade show. And of course, you can always go outside and you get compiled lists or managed lists from the list industry. It depends on who you're trying to reach and how you're going to get those names. If you have access to the names, if you have access to a membership list of some kind that's appropriate for your booth, then absolutely try to attain it. Okay. What do you send? You send a card to just say, hey, we're at booth 135? Maybe. Maybe that's part of the mix. Okay. But I think if you're going to go after C-level type attendance or even managerial level attendance, you're going to need to get past gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are very difficult, and sometimes you have to think really hard on how to do that. And that's why I have these props here. Dimensional mail is what it's called, is opened because it's unique. It's not an envelope, it's not a self-mailer, it's not a brochure. All right. The issue is that they're costly to produce, they're costly to mail. I mean, not outside the realm of reality, but they are more costly than just a letter or a card. Why would I use these? I would use these because people open them for sure. When was the last time you got a priority envelope and you didn't open it? Or a priority box and didn't open it? And what if I sent you a tube? Now that's a little unusual, isn't it? You don't get tubes every single day. You're going to open it. And it's my job, it's your job actually, to put something in there that wows them when they open it and make them interested in what you're doing at the show. There's many devices you could use. You could use contests. You could use, giveaways. Come to our booth and sign up for an iPod or an iPad. We have digital cameras. We have 27 digital cameras for the first 27 people who come past the booth. Whatever, something tangible that makes it worth their while to stop at your booth, other than talk to you about your product or service. Just want to get them in front of you. Then you can do your job by converting them from prospects to qualified leads. Okay? Scheduling. Now, everybody needs to know that you don't just go to a trade show. It needs to be on your schedule. First, your company has to decide you're going to go there and put up your booth, and everybody's going to schlep over there with all their paraphernalia and all the tchotchkes for giveaways and all of that good stuff. And your key salespeople are going to be, they're going to have meetings and they're going to talk about what they're planning on doing at the trade show. But you need to drive the people to the booth. Scheduling is really not all that difficult. It's actually the same scheduling as I would tell a nonprofit who's putting on a big gala. All right. Approximately 8 weeks before the event, issue some type of save the date card. All right. That puts them on notice that there's going to be a trade show, when it's going to be, and you're going to be there. 6 weeks out, if it's one of the shows that allows you to have X number of free admission tickets because you're an exhibitor, then I would send those out at about 6 weeks. Okay? 4 weeks out is when you're going to follow up with your main piece. This is the last piece they're going to get from you prior to the show in a tangible way. And you want this to be the wow factor. So what's in the box, what's in the tube, what's in the big envelopes, all right, that's your main drive to the booth. It's the key for the lock box. It's the ticket for the drawing. It's all those things that are going to get them in front of you. That's when you're going to want to use this. Now, of course, in today's world, you're also going to want to follow up maybe 2 weeks to 10 days out with an e-blast. Okay, that last reminder to them that A, they have the opportunity to see you and talk about your product or service, B, to enter the contest, all right, and again, just to remind them that in 2 weeks' time or 10 days' time, we'll see you in Las Vegas, or we'll see you in Portland, or wherever the show might be. Okay, so here's the things you need to think about, because you're going to have to budget. Somebody's going to be responsible for budgeting this thing. The shows come in all different sizes: local, regional, national, all right, each with their own persona. So again, we talk about a profiling situation. Profile this show. What is it? An A show, a B show, a C show? And start building your budget in relation to that. What's a new qualified customer worth to your company over time? If it's X dollars, how many of those X dollar customers do you need to have to make this trade show attendance make sense? That's your ROI, okay? You have to think about, just like sending out a direct mail campaign, what's my ROI going to be? All right, if you haven't done this before, you're going to have to test it, to build it, to find out. All right. Production costs. If you know it's an A show and you know your individual customers are worth a lot of money to the company, a lot of new revenue to the company, then you're going to want to spend the money to get them. Okay? There's no free lunch. Okay? You have to reach those people. If you're reaching for a higher level, if you're reaching for the gold ring on the carousel, you got to ride around. Okay? So don't be afraid if your budget is a little on the heavy side, because if you're successful, it's going to be pale by comparison. Okay? Watch your time. Make sure you hit your time marks as far as sending things out. All right? Don't let them lag. Don't let them be late, because all your competition is trying to reach these same, very, very same people. You want to be there on time so it makes sense all the way around, from the save the date to the follow-ups and to the actual e-blast and everything. You want everything to be on time. Okay, so understand what resources are necessary to pull this off. Big fan of lists. Make the list. Make it make sense time-wise. Make sure you hit all the check-offs. All right, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about the postage. If your market is huge, okay, your postage bill could be considerable. All right, let's get an expert involved. Obviously, you can call us. We'd love to talk to you and make you a client here. But if you're not, you want to talk to your expert to make sure that you're minimizing your postage exposure. Okay, very important. Don't give the post office any more money than they need to have to do what you're asking them to do. Okay, there are many ways to save money in that environment, from size to shape to standard mail versus first class mail. Many ways to save it. So get an expert involved. Hopefully that expert's me or one of my staff, and we'll help you do that. Okay, the concept, the design, the image. You need to match this whole campaign just as you would any other marketing effort of the company. What's the image you're trying to present? Do you have imaged pieces? Do you have branded pieces? Use them. Don't make it haphazard. If you have branded pieces, make sure you're passing by your graphics people and that they're all correct, and that you've laid it out correctly as far as colors and sizes and all of the things that are in your corporate procedure book. Again, understand the packaging, understand what's necessary. The post office is happy to give you these, okay, free of charge. Don't be afraid to use them, okay? These all have a cost involved, but if they're appropriate to what you're trying to do, absolutely use them. Sources are readily available, and you can have these in your hands in a matter of a day or two from most suppliers. Okay. Gatekeepers. Make sure you're addressing your effort to the appropriate person. If you're unsure that that's the person's name that sits in that seat, find out before you send it out. Because if it's wrong, guess what? It's out. Okay? You're putting an awful lot of effort into a trade show appearance and the marketing that goes before that. So you don't want to drop the ball on that little bitty issue of making sure you got the right name for the right job in the right company, okay? Motivators. If you're reaching a high enough level in a large corporation, how are you going to motivate them? Well, maybe an iPad or an iPod is not going to do it. Maybe a small digital camera is not going to do it. Maybe you're going to have to go up the ladder and figure out what it is that you're going to have to put on the line to get that C-level to come and talk to you. All right? I can't make that decision for you. It's all going to be driven by the profile of the show, the profile of the qualified leads you're hoping to get, and quite frankly, the quality of your salespeople. Okay? Tips in all, trade show appearances, pre-trade show appearances have to be handled like every other marketing opportunity. You have to take it through its paces, check off all the boxes, and hopefully that'll drive so many people to your booth that you're not going to have enough time to talk to them all that day. Stop by again. We'll see you soon.